The night did not end peacefully. What had begun as whispers and suspicions spread like wildfire through the village, until it became something far more dangerous: rage. By the time darkness fully settled, it was no longer just a rumor. It was a verdict. And Kelechi stood at the center of it. The villagers stormed Kelechi's house in a wave of fury that could not be reasoned with. The wooden door barely stood a chance against the force of their anger. It burst open under heavy blows, splintering as bodies pushed through. Voices filled the air, overlapping, shouting, accusing, each louder than the last. "Kelechi! Come out! You betrayed us!" Inside, chaos erupted instantly. Kelechi barely had time to react before hands were on him, grabbing his shirt, dragging him forward. His mother clung to him desperately, her fingers digging into his arm as she cried out, her voice breaking under the weight of fear. "Please, leave my son alone. He didn't do anything." But her cries were swallowed by the crowd. No one was listening. Not tonight. Hands pulled Kelechi from every direction. Rough, unforgiving, relentless. Someone struck him across the face, the impact snapping his head to the side. Another shove sent him stumbling forward, nearly falling before he was yanked upright again. The air was thick with dust and anger, the kind that blinded people to reason. "You sold us," someone shouted, their voice sharp with betrayal. "You destroyed everything." Another voice echoed, louder, angrier. Kelechi tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. His throat felt tight, his chest heavier with each passing second. The faces around him were familiar. Neighbors, friends, people he had grown up with. Yet now there was nothing recognizable in their eyes. Only fury. Only hurt. Years of trust collapsed in seconds. He could feel it, every accusation landing heavier than the blows. This wasn't just anger. This was something deeper. Something final. The crowd surged forward again, their movements growing more aggressive, more dangerous. It was no longer just about confrontation. It was becoming something else entirely. Something that couldn't be undone. The gunshots shattered the air. The sharp cracks cut through the chaos like lightning, freezing everything for a split second. The noise echoed across the village, loud enough to silence even the angriest voice. Instinctively, people stepped back, their rage interrupted by something stronger. Fear. Armed men arrived faster than anyone expected. They didn't move like villagers. They moved with precision, with purpose. Their presence alone shifted the atmosphere, turning the chaotic energy into something tense and uncertain. Weapons raised, eyes sharp, they forced their way between Kelechi and the crowd. But they weren't there to help the villagers. They were there to control them. "Step back," one of the soldiers shouted, his voice commanding, leaving no room for argument. The crowd hesitated, but only for a moment. "Disperse immediately," another voice ordered, louder this time. Instead of calming the situation, their arrival twisted it into something worse. The villagers didn't see protection. They saw confirmation. Proof that something had been wrong all along. Fear turned into resistance. Murmurs grew into shouts again, louder than before, more desperate. "They're with him. They're protecting him." Stones were thrown, not carefully, not with aim, but with raw emotion. One struck the ground near the soldiers. Another hit a metal surface with a sharp clang. The tension snapped tighter, every second pushing things closer to collapse. Voices rose, overlapping, chaotic, impossible to control. The village had just crossed a line, and there was no going back. In the middle of it all, Kelechi was pulled aside. Strong hands gripped him firmly, dragging him away from the chaos, away from the people he had always belonged to. The distance between him and the villagers grew quickly, deliberately. Separated. Isolated. Like he no longer belonged to them. Because he didn't. He turned his head slightly, just enough to look back. The faces he saw were no longer filled with recognition. There was no sympathy, no understanding, only anger and something colder. Rejection. The weight of it settled deep within him, heavier than anything else that night. One of the armed men stepped closer to him, his movements calm, controlled, completely unaffected by the chaos surrounding them. He leaned in slightly, his voice low but clear enough to cut through everything else. "You see what you've caused?" he said. There was no anger in his tone. No urgency. Just quiet certainty. Kelechi's breathing was uneven, his body still tense from everything that had just happened. His voice shook when he finally managed to speak, the words barely steady. "You said no one would be harmed." The man looked at him for a moment, then smiled. Not reassuringly, not kindly, just knowingly. "I said what you needed to hear." The words landed harder than anything else that night. In that instant, everything became clear. Every promise, every reassurance, every carefully chosen word. It had all been part of something else. Kelechi felt something shift inside him. Not sudden, not loud, but undeniable. A realization settling into place, one that couldn't be ignored anymore. He wasn't a partner. He never had been. He was a tool. Used when needed. Controlled when necessary. And tools are disposable.